at hand.
So, looking at what is happening in Kenya, right? The clamping down on these on information or dissemination of information. Do you not feel as though maybe, or is, it could actually spill into Uganda and spill into the neighboring countries, and it could just affect the broader, the African space?
Already, what is happening in Uganda and Rwanda is worse. Only that the governments are very high-handed. They are purely using military approaches. This is keeping citizens from advancing to the levels of Kenya. But the situation is not actually different. I would speak of Uganda and Rwanda. They are not, or Tanzania, where you've seen the leader of opposition under custody on trumped up charges. In Uganda, Dr. Kizza Besigye is in prison. The media houses are doing the little they can, but still. So what is happening in Kenya is already happening in Uganda. Kenya is lucky that the society is a bit civically competent than in Uganda, that they can stand up to any sort of oppression, unlike in Uganda.
I've got a WhatsApp that I need to play, but let me just go to the text first and then we'll go to the voice note. So the text from David Mandlankosi says, in Africa, I don't think democracy exists. It only exists by name or when we must vote. One type of democracy I can agree it exists is press freedom. Our democracy is unethical and full of corruption. That's David Mandla Nkosi. Let's go to the voice note.
Democracy in Africa and South Africa in particular does not work. It is just something that we've adopted from other countries. It's a very good thing that we've adopted, but it doesn't work because democracy needs people to abide by the law and the rules of the country. In South Africa, it does not work. And what we need is a dictator or a person like Traore to come and put systems in place where if you infringe any of the laws, people are held accountable. As we speak, there's no accountability. It doesn't work, man. It doesn't work.
Your take, Robert?
Just a recap on the audio, but I want to answer the first person of the text.
Yes.
Democracy does exist. We have testimonials. You have Malawi. They just elected a new president. It was through democracy. You have Zambia. They elected their president. You have Senegal. It works. Unless in those countries where authoritarianism has grown horns, that's where democracy has failed to work, or where it is purported to be democratic, but we have so many statistics where democracy has worked. So we shouldn't doubt ourselves. It's work in progress. We've not reached where we are going, but it's work in progress, and I believe we can achieve it.
Mm-hmm. And then from the voice note?
Just give me a recap of the voice note.
Just give me a second. We're going to do it again.
Democracy in Africa and South Africa in particular does not work. It is just something that we've adopted from other countries. It's a very good thing that we've adopted, but it doesn't work because democracy needs people to abide by the law and the rules of the country. In South Africa, it does not work. And what we need is a dictator or a person like Traore to come and put systems in place where if you infringe any of the laws, people are held accountable. As we speak, there's no accountability. It doesn't work, man. It doesn't work.
Robert, just before you react, I was just speaking to my technical producer very quickly. It's a quick one where it's almost like it's one-sided, and I think this is why maybe we're getting the one side of the story to say it doesn't work. Those that govern when they set the rules and regulations, all of a sudden, when those rules do not suit them, they then do not abide by the very governance that they've put in place, if that makes sense. But you can go ahead.
Exactly. Most of our constitutions, including that of Uganda, they state power belongs to the people. Whatever the governments or those in power intend to do, once people unite and speak one volume, they will do what the people say. That's why the people in Kenya are speaking with one voice. Stop gross inequalities, stop corruption, stop this. And the government is listening the hard way. So they listen. Now, the cardinal mandate comes back to the citizens. Are they aware of their citizenry duties? Are they aware of their civic duties? Are they aware of their rights and freedoms? That is the most critical question we should have. But who will help these citizens to be civically more competent? It is the media and press freedom that keeps informing them, that keeps updating them, that keeps driving public discourse. That's how we are thriving. So democracy is actually working. Is it flourishing? No, it is not flourishing. Is it backsliding? Yes, it is backsliding. Can we build back better? Yes, we can build back better.
Absolutely. Robert Kigongo, Sustainable Development Analyst based in Uganda. Thank you so much for giving us time and sharing some insight. And once again, I think let me just repeat that quote by our former late President Nelson Mandela. Open quote, "A critical, independent and investigative press is the lifeblood of any democracy, because without information, it can turn out to be, it's almost like the blind leading the blind." But thank you so much and have yourself a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
This Mandela Month, SAFM celebrates the spirit of Ubuntu, calling on all South Africans to engage, uplift, and do good for one another. Let's share what we have, lend a helping hand, and honor Madiba's legacy through kindness and action. Join SAFM as we bring you powerful conversations, inspiring stories, and voices that drive change all month long. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. Made in SA.
So this is quite exciting. Hashtag Made in SA. This week we zone in on a family-owned farming business in Kuruman, Northern Cape, led by young founder Tlalefu Ditebe. Good to have you on the show. This is the founder, Agro Queen. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you so much for having us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, my dear. So Kuruman Family Farm, led by you as the founder and known as Agro Queen, delivering sustainable humane dairy, meat from happy cows and goats. Beyond that, you also offer diverse agricultural products. We're talking fresh produce. Maybe if you could just unpack for us how it all began, how you started and why you decided to go farming. Because, when you hear farming, you expect somebody who's lived life, a little bit more mature. And when I say mature, we're talking 60, 65, someone in retirement. But you are young and you took this upon yourself. Maybe if you could explain.
That is so true. Not only was I born into a family where agriculture is at the heart of everything we do, but it is also a deep-seated passion as well that has been nurtured through generations. I grew up in a place where, I was surrounded by sounds, joys, and just the rural life as well of being in the farm. But one other thing as well is I had an opportunity as well to be in the retail sector, particularly the bag area. I think that's where majority of things happen, which is the receiving point, where one could learn and see the importance of food as the trucks are coming in to deliver, and also how to handle food as well as the stock is coming in. And I think that's where I saw the need of food, and I also wanted to be part of this.
And what breeds of beef cattle do you primarily raise, and what factors influenced these choices?
One of the breeds that we currently breeding is a Bonsmara. They're easy to adapt as well into the environment. I mean, we are based in a place where it is very dry. Kuruman is extremely dry, hardly get rain. But when you have a breed like a Bonsmara, it's so easy to adapt, even on dry seasons as well or in drought. It can still maintain the body structure. So that's one of the reasons why we opted for Bonsmaras.
And taking a look at the dairy aspect of it, do you operate a dairy farm within AgroQueen's operations? And what types of dairy products do you produce? Is it milk? Is it cheese? Is it yogurt? What is it?
For now, what we're offering is goat milk. So we are offering goat milk, but we're also looking into offering yogurt, cheese as well, and butter as well. So those are the things that are also in the pipeline. But for now, we currently have goat milk.
And what type of goats do you farm or do you have on the farm?
We have the Chosenberg one, which is the one for dairy. And then for meat, we have the Boer goats.
And are there any niche markets you target with your goat products, or do you primarily focus on local consumption?
We are still looking in the locals, but in the near future, we do want to expand and supply other companies or other retailers as well out there.
And what is the vision? Normally when a family starts farming, you would expect a succession phase, which is it starts with the parent, then to the children. What is the vision?
From our side, the vision is to create job opportunities, and not only in our community, but beyond, especially in our province as well, in the Northern Cape, would want to create opportunities, job opportunities. Would want to expand as well our farm and have more breeds. Not only the Bonsmaras, but we're also looking, one of the other breeds that is really taking my heart is the Beefmaster as well. So those are the things that we would want to have as well.
So I just went into Google. I'm taking a look at some of your cows. They look absolutely gorgeous. Chances I would want to keep them as pets and not really, use them for beef. And the advantages, the key advantages and challenges of operating a family-owned business, what have they been, if at all any?
There are challenges, being especially in our environment. Like earlier on, I said that Kuruman is a very dry area. Things that are honestly beyond our control in terms of the rain, in terms of because now one has to constantly ensure that you supplement to ensure that your cattle they maintain the body structure. So those are one of the challenges that we're currently facing. However, those are beyond our control, but one can always supplement.
And taking a look at the opportunities, beef prices have skyrocketed, which is a plus, I would like to believe, for your business. Do you get advantages from that, or it becomes with disadvantages?
Because of it's not an every year thing or every month thing. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. But when the opportunity is there, one is very grateful for that. That the prices is looking done for us.
And for more for more information rather, and also maybe for anyone who is really encouraged or motivated to do farming, is there where someone can go, maybe Google a site or someone they can talk to?
There's one quote that I love so much from Utata, from Nelson Mandela, when he said that our greatest glory lies not in avoiding faults, but also in our ability to rise each time that we stumble. And I think as a young farmer or as a young person out there in South Africa, yes, the challenges will be there, but with the determination and the hard work, you can overcome them. But just to add on that as well, they can reach us into our Facebook page. They can also reach us into our TikTok page as well, which is AgroQueen_, and then on Facebook it's AgroQueen Pty Ltd. And our email address is info@agroqueen.co.za.
That's founder AgroQueen chatting to us, Tlale for Ditebe. Thank you for making time. Very inspirational. I'm inspired. But dealing with animals, I'm very emotional and sensitive. I don't know. Maybe I should give it a try. But thank you so much and have yourself a good one.
Thank you so much, Bertha. You too.
And bye-bye.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again.
Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
The Health Professions Council of South Africa, HPCSA, has extended its call for nominations of suitable persons to serve on the HPCSA professional boards. All practitioners actively registered with the HPCSA may be nominated. Deadline for submissions is 31 July 2025. For more details, visit the HPCSA website, hpcsa.co.za.
Hear the rhythm, feel the heat at the Imbaula Music Festival in partnership with SAFM, where music, culture, and community come alive. Join us on the 2nd of August 2025 at Pretoria Botanical Gardens from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to vibe to Sanal musician Calvin Momo, Amanda Black, Zing Lumalo, Trompis, and many more. More than just music. Share stories, spark change, and unite against gender-based violence. Grab your tickets at imbaula.co.za. Brought to you by SAFM and SABC1. Hear the rhythm, feel the heat. Imbaula.
SABC Sport brings you Chasing the Sun, a powerful 5-part documentary series about the Springboks, telling the rousing tale of their path to redemption and ultimate World Cup glory in 2019. Started on the 13th of July at 7:30 p.m. on SABC2. Tune in every Sunday for the highs, the heartache, and the heroics that made rugby history. Stream each chapter on SABC Plus anytime, anywhere. No subscription needed. Don't miss Chasing the Sun this Sunday at 7:30 p.m. on SABC2. Be there when history shines.
SAFM values your views. Be an active citizen.
And coming up next, the South African National Association of the Blind and Partially Sighted Persons joins us for a conversation about the services they provide that include community-based rehabilitation with the aim to offer equal opportunities. And we are going to be talking to Marketing Officer of South African National Association of the Blind and Partially Sighted Persons. That is Bokamoso Mpahlani. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for your warm welcome.
So the South African National Association of the Blind and Partially Sighted Persons, we're talking about, the opportunities as well as the challenges that are faced within that fraternity. Tell us about the work of the organization first and the main focus of the outreach.
The organization is mainly focusing on the visually impaired people, and then we have services that fall under our organization. We have community-based rehabilitation, and then we teach computer literacy and computer, but the main engine of the organization is the CBR, the community-based rehabilitation. Under this community-based rehabilitation, we have a community developer who is tasked in overseeing the work of the community-based rehabilitation. Under it, we have home visits. They conduct home visits whereby they get deployed to various communities, and then where they go and to visit our beneficiaries, for example, and they provide them with the assistive devices like canes, money templates, and they also advise them in terms of, for example, if a person, there are people who get visually impaired maybe after high school, for example. So that person, you find out the person doesn't know where to go from there. So that's where we come in as an organization. That's the work of the community developer under CBR, community-based rehabilitation. And then we also teach them computer. We also teach them braille. That's what falls under the CBR.
And what are the most critical obstacles you aim to resolve for the blind and partially sighted persons?
The critical obstacles is that we usually want to resolve is we've realized that many visually impaired people have difficulty in securing representation across all spheres of life, mainly on workplaces. You find that the most obstacle is that in many workplaces, you find that the employer is not willing to get assistive devices for the person who's visually impaired, or you find out there's a post that is released or a learnership that is specifically specifying that it's for partially sighted persons only, then it's not catering for the visually impaired people. That's what we want to create, a unity between visually impaired people and blind people, so that if opportunities arises, it arises for both of them, not for a specific one and not the other one.
And how can the public support your work, as well as how can people who need your services reach you?
The public can support our work by mostly just spreading out the word out there about our organization, and as well they can also help us in terms of securing funds, and if there's a person who wants to donate for us, they can also help us in terms of that as well.
And then lastly, if you had unlimited resources, if you could get everything that you wish for, if you had a wish list, what is the one game-changing thing that would be that one thing that you need desperately as an organization?
It's a sponsorship or a funder, because this community-based rehabilitation that I talked about, it requires funds in order for it to operate efficiently, because for them to conduct those home visits, they need money to travel. So we also need money to buy those assistive devices. If we get a funder or a sponsor, I think that's what can help us to also to increase our infrastructure here at our organization as well.
Bokamuso Mpahlane, Marketing Officer of South African National Association of the Blind and Partially Sighted Persons. And of course, if you would like to assist, once again, just give me the contact details.
They can reach us on 015 1011 328. That's 015 1011 328. Or they can reach us on an email. It's admin@sanabp.co.za. It's all small caps. Or on WhatsApp, they can get hold of us on 079 547 0687. That's on WhatsApp, 079 547 0687.
Thank you so much, Bokamuso Mpahlane, chatting to us. Have yourself a good one. It's now time for news.
Thank you for the massive opportunity.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Bertha. On the top stories, former Chief Justice weighs in on the law enforcement agencies and security beefed up for the protection of forensic auditors in Ekurhuleni. For SAFM News, I am Ondalambana, and a very good day. Former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo says he has little confidence in the Hawks. Zondo says he believes South Africa cannot win the fight against corruption without a capable and effective police force. He was speaking at the South African Council of Churches National Anti-Corruption Conference underway in Johannesburg. Zondo also criticized the disbandment of the Scorpions, saying it allowed criminals to flourish.
In the early 2000s, we had the Scorpions, which were very effective in fighting corruption. The criminals had begun to fear them, but in the 2007 ANC elective conference, a resolution was taken to disband them. The results are there for all of us to see. A number of cases that were lodged with the Hawks in 2017 by board of PRASA. As far as I know, in 2025, we have heard of no arrests So my faith in the hawks is not the same as the faith I had in the scorpions.
Ekurhuleni Mayor Nkosindipile Xhakaza says security measures have been implemented to protect senior forensic auditors working on high-profile investigations at the Metro. This follows the killing of 47-year-old chief forensic auditor in the municipality, Mpho Mafole. Mafole was gunned down at the end of last month while driving on the R23 in Kempton Park. He had been investigating a 2 billion rand electricity scandal at the municipality. Xhakaza says the safety of audit staff is critical, especially as municipalities are preparing to submit their financial reports to the Auditor General's office.
We did indicate that it's something that we need to be improving on. A risk assessment needs to be done to all our guys at different levels to actually, appropriate the necessary, security. You'll agree with me. Security. Also, there's issues of cost, there's issues of South Africans always wanting us to be conscious of what we do. But I must indicate that, the due provision of security is actually been provided.
The Competition Commission has welcomed the approval of the proposed merger between the French media company Canal Plus and MultiChoice. The Competition Tribunal conditionally approved the over 30 billion rand deal yesterday that could significantly transform the local media landscape. The merger sets the stage for the combined group to take on the likes of global streaming giant Netflix and forms part of the French-based company's expansion in Africa. The Competition Commission spokesperson, Siyabulela Makunga, says the approval follows their recommendation made in May.
Of note is the commitments by the merger parties to ensure that there will be no retrenchments for the period of 3 years post the merger, but also supply development of over 3 years with focus on expenditure on local content and procurement for SMMEs as well as historically disadvantaged persons.
The MK Party, EFF and United Africans Transformation have indicated that they will not support the appropriations bill being debated in the National Assembly. The bill gives effect to how money is allocated to the different national departments, provinces and local governments. The process of tabling the national budget took long this year, as the process was delayed by unhappiness in the GNU cabinet as well as court challenges. MK MP Sanele Mwali says the budget does not lay a foundation for creating an equal society.
Through this budget and other economic policies, government continue to pursue more of the same economic, fiscal and monetary policies which failed to bring about the change, but had only impoverished millions of our citizens. It sets on the same path which brought us to where we are.
Johannesburg City Power has given the assurance that there'll be fewer unplanned power outages. It says with more infrastructure back online, it will be able to respond to faults faster, significantly reducing power interruptions. The power utility also says a more stable grid will make it possible for households and businesses to receive consistent electricity supply. Spokesperson Isaac Mangena.
This progress is the result of focused proactive maintenance effort led by our team in the Hestile area and also working along, obviously around our major substations in Roosevelt and Parkhurst. Our teams have been working tirelessly to make sure that we reduce the repeat breakdowns and ensure that customers experience a more stable and consistent electricity supply.
Recapping the top story, former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo says he has little confidence in the Hawks. Zondo says he believes South Africa cannot win the fight against corruption without a capable and effective police force. I am on Delambana for SAFM News Headlines at 2:30.
SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide.
My name is Regina Mogolola, midfielder. Banyana Banyana, we are the African champions. My favorite hairstyle is short haircut. Between a farmhouse and a beach house, I will choose a farmhouse. If I receive a 5 million rent secretly, I will share with the team. Fellow South African, continue showing Banyana Banyana love and support them all the way. Where Africa competes, South Africa connects.
Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
Gender-based violence is destroying lives and tearing communities apart. It happens in homes, in schools, at workplaces, and too often in silence. But it doesn't have to continue. If you see it, speak out. If you are hurting, reach out. Because doing nothing is not an option. Listen to all 19 SABC radio stations from Wednesday, the 23rd of July for hard talk, discussions, advice, dramas, educational shows and interviews around GBV with experts, survivors, lawmakers and a whole country affected by gender-based violence. All on your favorite SABC radio station. Call 0800 428 428 to report abuse or get help. GBV, it ends with you. This message is brought to you by the SABC. SAFM, in collaboration with the Standard Bank Joy of Jazz, brings you the Jazz for Young People concert happening at the National School of the Arts on the 26th of July 2025. Tune in to Seasons and the Soundtrack of Your Life, broadcasting live. This unique event is a powerful celebration of youth, creativity, and community spirit. Bring the whole family to enjoy a wonderful day of world-class jazz from young musicians, curated by Zoe Mudicha, featuring National School of the Arts Band, Willow Crescent Magnet School of Music Band, Biko's Manor, and many others. Have fun while doing good. Tickets are available at Quicket for just 80 Rand and 50 Rand for kids under 12. SAFM, leading the conversations that move us. You are listening to The Full Circle.
Not
Janine Sinamali. It is the Full Circle. And if you've just tuned in, the first hour, we spoke about the situation in Kenya, the Kenyan protests, when press freedom is under siege. Courageous journalists enlighten the world. And we spoke to Robert Kigongo, sustainable development analyst based in Uganda. Also spoke to founder Agro Queen, Tlalifo Ditebe. And we're talking about family-owned farming business in Kuruman, Northern Cape, led by the young founder. Also, we spoke to Bokamuso Mpahlane, Marketing Officer of South African National Association of the Blind and Partially Sighted Persons, and talking about the services that are offered and also just trying to unpack the challenges that they face. So coming up in the next hour, the second hour of the show, we're going to be talking to Sinikiwe Biela, Executive Director at Lifeline and Rape Crisis in Pietermaritzburg. And this is all because what we are faced with as a country, something has shifted, and it has shifted in the wrong direction. Abuse of children has become rampant in South Africa.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195 and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
With the ever-changing financial landscape, it can be difficult to make sense of all the moves at times. Join me, Jimmy Moyaha, on the SAFM Market Update with MoneyWeb, Mondays to Thursdays, 6 to 7 p.m, as we break down the key market trends, top financial stories, and smart investment insights, all in one place. It's everything you need to stay financially informed and ahead of the curve.
You are listening to SAFM Radio this Mandela Month.
It is in your hands now.
Of Small Business Development will be hosting the Global SMME meeting, which is all about empowering small businesses to drive economic growth. Tune into the Talking Point on Thursday, 24th of July, as we bring you the latest updates and insights from the conference.
Bertha Charuma on SAFM.
And of course, taking a look at what is coming up on the show, we have been, engaging in so many different ways. Well, Sinikiwe Biela is our next guest, and we are talking about abuse of children, which has become quite rampant in South Africa. And this reminds me, I think I was driving to work and I don't know what I was listening to. And there was a lady who was talking about their situation in their area where children just go missing. And when you go to the police, you are asked to wait a certain period. And by the time, that time has lapsed, you can only imagine the worst could have happened. But this happens in so many different ways. And we thought today, well, let's try and unpack. Let's try and find out what exactly is going on. Children facing abuse in their homes from their parents, loved ones, and we are witnessing mothers who are accused of harming, selling, and killing their own children. What are the critical interventions? What can be done? Is there something that can be done? Executive Director at Lifeline and Rape Crisis in Pietermaritzburg, Sinikiwe Biela, joins us on the show. Good to have you on the show.
Good afternoon, Peter, and good afternoon to all the listeners of SAFM. It's good to be back on the show.
I'm always heavy-hearted whenever I have to speak about such issues. But you know what? We just have to unpack and make, the community quite conscious of what is happening around us. So last week, Africa Check reported that 273 children were murdered between October and December 2024. In the work you do, are you witnessing the disturbing numbers and reports of child neglect as well as abuse?
That is very disturbing. We are witnessing a lot of abuse of children and a lot of neglect. killing by their mothers seems to be a very new trend that is actually just heartbreaking because, you know, Bertha, there is a Zulu saying that meaning if you're an orphan, normally you get comfort from your mother's hands. And now if mothers are involved in killing their own children, it's actually very, very disturbing. But also what is disturbing for us as Lifeline, it means now genuine mothers that are going to go to court or to the police station to report their children that have gone missing because of human trafficking. That is also very rife in South Africa. Nobody will believe them. So it actually puts families in a very awkward position because what do you do now if your child for real has been trafficked? And now we have all this bad example of mothers that have reported, but they know what they've done to their own children, they've killed them. So it is really bad, and it's putting all of us and the work that we're doing in the gender-based violence space actually backwards. And you wonder if police will ever believe mothers now if they come forward in reporting missing children.
Just looking at the Jaden Lee Meek story, where the 31-year-old mother of Jaden Lee Meek was arrested on the 11th of July in connection with her son's death and faces multiple charges, including murder, crime injuria, defeating the ends of justice, attempting to obstruct justice. Jaden Lee's body was discovered on the 14th of May on the staircase of his home at the Swazes Place complex in Vloerhof, southwest Johannesburg. And the authorities allege that Mick struck her son with a blunt object. Blood was reportedly found on Jaden Lee's bed and his school uniform. And during Monday's hearing, the state called investigation officer Nceba Diko, a sergeant with the South African Police Service, to testify in opposition to Mick's bail application. And it's so sad. And one can only begin to think, was she mentally stable when this occurred? And we're not saying she's guilty, by the way. This is just from the reports and the few facts that are being presented to us. In your work, what are your observations? And especially in the case of the 11-year-old, Jaden Lee Meek's case, as the mother pleads not guilty of his murder.
Okay, I think I would start with that last point in terms of the mother pleading not guilty. You know, Bertha, even perpetrators of rape cases, they all plead not guilty. So for us as Lifeline Pietermaritzburg, we are so used in people committing crimes and then pleading not guilty. And for us, it doesn't mean you are not guilty because people always plead not guilty even if there is hardcore evidence. I think what is very disturbing, because I've been following the case of Jaden Lee, what is very disturbing is that how the mother did not know that the child was lying dead in a staircase when she went to the police station to open a case, and the community that we have to commend worked with her to actually try and search for the missing child. We have to also commend SAPS for their swift response in terms of actually assisting the family locate the missing boy. I think the piece of the puzzle that we're all asking ourselves is, how come the mother did not know that the child was lying dead in the staircase of her flat? I think the second thing that we are looking at as Lifeline is the fact that this kind of behavior, yes, you've alluded to mental health, but for us, I don't think it's only around mental health issues. And I will come back to the mental health issue just now. I just want to say, because it's not only about the killing, it's also about the neglect and gross neglect. I mean, last year alone, between 2024 and 2025, we have supported over 3,345 children that are under the age of 18 that will either have been abused or have been neglected by their own families. And for us, what we are seeing is the causes of these things, at times where actually parents are involved, is that sometimes parents, they're having children for the wrong reasons. They're having children when they're not ready to have children, And we don't think they understand the consequences and the responsibilities associated with having a child. And then they think neglecting the child would be the easy way out. And at times you find that even mothers, they are young mothers themselves, so there is no maturity in terms of how to look after the child. But what is worse, when children are being killed like this, it only now tells us that maybe there was not even a bond with this child. Because if the mother or the father has bonded so much with your child, how on earth you go hate the person that you've bonded with and you love so much? So we feel that sometimes parents have not bonded with their children, and sometimes parents have children as a way of threatening the partner to stay in the relationship. And when they realize that didn't happen, the anger and the dissatisfaction gets taken out on the poor child that is on the receiving end of this relationship now that didn't work out as according to the plan, and the child needs to go through now and suffer because parents are not in an item. But when it comes to now the mental health issue, Bertha, last year as Lifeline, we dealt with a case of a mother who was also 39 years old, who killed her 9-year-old. She was sharing a bed with the 4-year-old and the 11-year-old who was sleeping on the floor. She woke up at night and she took a knife from the kitchen cupboard, stabbed the 9-year-old to death. While the other two kids were asking her, "Mommy, what are you doing? Why are you doing that to her?" She then said there was a voice that told her to actually do this. So while we are quoting all other reasons that could be leading to parents neglecting their children and abusing them, I feel like as South Africans, we also need to start looking at the signs of people that might be suffering from mental health issues. Because clearly this woman, I'm not saying all people that have had their children are having mental health issues, and I wouldn't want people to jump into that because I'm giving like an analysis of what we have seen as Lifeline. Mostly it's because they're not bonded, they don't love those kids, they had children for the wrong reasons, and they have no understanding of the responsibilities and the consequences of being a parent. That takes the biggest chunk of it. But I'm saying we've also have observed cases where the parent is not mentally okay, and family members have ignored or turned a blind eye on the fact that this parent is not mentally stable, and they still allowed that person alone to be the caregiver of the children. And that, unfortunately, that one child that I'm referring to died in the hands of the mother, who, after she was sent to hospital, was diagnosed of having a schizophrenia. But the family knew that she was not okay, but they didn't know to what extent she was not okay. So I feel there is some education that needs to happen there. However, having said that, it doesn't take away the fact that Jaden Lee's mother misled the community, misled the SAPS, because we did not say the child is lying dead in our house. So whereas in this case of this mother that I'm referring to, who had a mental health issue, said, I killed her because the voice told me to do so. So can you see that the difference? There's no lying or hiding around the bush. We're just saying something told me to do it, then I did it. And in this case, it feels like the mother had a motive. Yes, we're not working with the law. We don't know what the motive is, but it feels like there was no bond with the child. Or even if the parent was struggling, we always say as Lifeline, there's no excuse of taking a life. Even if as a mother you are struggling to raise the child, you have no money, you have no food. There are services in communities, there are social workers, there are places where the child can be given up for adoption, even if it's foster care, until such time your financial circumstances are better for the parent to take the child back and look after the child. So there is no excuse for this appalling behavior. Unfortunately, we condemn it as Lifeline Pietermaritzburg. It's something that shocked all of us as South Africans, and we feel children are not safe in their own homes, which is very, very disturbing.
So looking at the options, do children have any options who live in abusive households when faced with such challenges? Who can they go to when they are faced with threats and danger? What is our role as a community, as neighbors, teachers, family members? Where do we go? Who do we talk to? Because as a child, I'm sure they start feeling as though if I abandon my family, then where will I go? Where will I sleep? Who will feed me?
Very true. And that makes them not to say anything about the abuse. Unfortunately, they keep quiet because they feel that if they talk, they're betraying the very same family that actually raised them. And I want to say, Bertha, the question that you're asking now in terms of what options do they have? I'm tempted to say, actually, young children have no options at all. Because when you're 4, when you're 3, and you're 2, the youngest child that suffered severe neglect that we dealt with this year alone in 2025, it's a 1-month-old baby. So what options a 1-month-old baby have? Nothing, Bertha. They have, actually, young children have no options because at times they don't even know that they are being abused. At times they love their parents. They're not aware that what the parent is doing now is actually abused. We had another case of a 7-year-old that was beaten up so badly that on the body worms were coming out. That the child was beaten up and they did not care to take the child to the clinic, that the wound got infected because she was slashed with a shambo all over, that worms were coming out of the wounds. So sometimes these young children have no options, actually, Bertha. The family, us as community leaders, as members of the families, we are the ones that need to rescue them. So we should, as teachers, especially the preschool teachers, the creches, they should be educated a bit so that they can identify the signs. They can see that the child is actually being abused. Because when they're young, they have no voice. As much as the voice is there, they can't shout loud enough for people to hear. So I feel that we as community members, we are their eyes, we are their ears, we are their voices. And I'm encouraging all South Africans today to be the eyes and the mouths of the young children that are currently being abused, that are at risk of losing their lives in the hands of their parents. We can't say to South Africans and say, this is the mother that is doing all of this, or this is the father, he knows what he's doing because he's the father. Gone are those days. The child belongs to all of us as community. We must monitor the signs. We must see if the child is presenting with some symptoms of neglect or the child is having marks, that we must actually report it.
Yeah. And the helpline number, do you have a helpline number very quickly?
Normally, especially when it's child abuse cases, we always say actually they can phone the childline number, but our number is Lifeline, where they can phone 033 342 4447. And when people want to report anonymously, they can go into our website, which is www.lifelinepmp.co.za, because they can drop us an anonymous email or anonymous message, and we can actually link up with other organizations, with government departments to actually assist that child. And if that child needs to be removed from that household, the child will be safely removed and the life will be saved.
Sinikiwe Biela, Executive Director at Lifeline and Rape Crisis in Pietermaritzburg. Thank you for making time and have a good one. It's now just gone 2:30.
Thank you, Bertha. On the news headlines, the presiding judge in the Senzo Meyiwa murder case, Judge Rata Mokgwatleng, has ordered that accused number 5 Fisoku Hlenduli be moved from the Jose Mampuru Correctional Center in Pretoria to another facility. Former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo says he has little confidence in the Hawks. Zondo says he believes South Africa cannot win the fight against corruption without a capable and effective police force. And the DA and IFP are some of the GNU partners that have supported the appropriations bill that is being debated in the National Assembly. A full update follows at the top of the hour.
You are listening to The Full Circle. This program is brought to you by SABC Education, enriching minds, enriching lives.
SABC Education, in partnership with the Department of Health and Ilifa Labantwana, bring you episode 34 of the Side-by-Side drama Season 4, focused on caring for children living with disabilities.
say unsay. Side by side.
Singama Africa Kenya you Tina Singama Africa Kenya you Tina Singama Africa Kenya you Tina.
Oh, Nkosi yami, Ola has been God sent. I can't even imagine what could have happened if he hadn't arrived when he did. And Lupumzo, having you here, it means everything.
We're all here for each other now, and that's all that matters, okay?
You know, Mama, when Siyabonga was banging on the door, I've never been so scared in my life. What's that, Ma?
No, baby. It's only Ukola. He's fixing the door. Imange, all right?
I'm fine, Mama.
Goodness. Why is this happening to us? What have we done to deserve this? Oh, Mtwanam.
He was at the door. He sounded so angry. He was saying all of these things about me, Mama, about us. What if he... I can't breathe.
Imange. Imange, look at me. Breathe. Slowly, okay? Tola! Tola, we need to go to the clinic now!
Joyce. I heard the police are searching for Siyabonga. He is now a fugitive. Yeah. And the extra charges for what he did yesterday, he's going to face serious time in prison once he's caught and sentenced.
Sakumzi, it's just so heartbreaking.
Why do men resort to such violence against women and children? Is it because of our violent past? Our history of oppression? Is that why it's like this?
I really wish I had the answers. The context might have influenced our society, but really, at some point, we have to take some personal responsibility.
Yes, maybe it's better we don't bring a child into this cruel world.
Really? Does that mean you're letting go of this entire idea of yours?
Yeah, but why? Were you thinking differently?
Well, I was kind of considering that maybe we should try for a child.
Really? Are you sure, Joyce?
Well, I was until you changed your mind.
I can go back. Joyce, for you, I can do anything.
Sakumzi, the only thing that matters the most out of this whole thing is that you and we have each other.
Yeah, always and forever. I love you, Joyce.
I love you too.
The doctor says you'll be fine, Imange. It was a panic attack. You are still 3 months pregnant and in good health.
Thank you so much, Nurse Piliso. That's good to hear.
Yeah, it was wise for you to bring her immediately, Pamela.
I was so scared for her and the pregnancy. Thank you so much, Nurse Piliso.
I read about some pregnancy emergencies that we should watch out for. Could you remind us what they are, please, Nurse Piliso?
Of course. One must be vigilant. Mm-hmm. There are a couple of signs, like if the mother is unusually tired, pale, or experience unusual swelling of legs, arms, or face. especially swollen reddish calf muscles, she should visit the clinic.
There are so many dangers to look out for.
Yeah. So seek immediate medical help for any of these symptoms, like excessive vaginal bleeding.
Okay.
Yeah. Reduced or no baby movements at all.
No baby movements?
Yeah. Headaches, dizziness, severe abdominal pain. Yeah. High temperature, convulsions.
Convulsions?
Yeah, convulsions. Very serious. Difficulty breathing. Preterm rupture of membrane. And early painful contractions are also important to watch out for.
Okay, and Ines, what about Mom Connect? Is that still a thing? It's an app that I used when I was pregnant with Dumisani.
Yeah, well, Lupumzo, then you should tell Imange and Upamela about it.
Okay, so Mom Connect is a fantastic resource. It's an app that I used when I was pregnant with Dumisani. Okay, so it reminds you of clinic visits. It gives you a platform to ask questions. Best part, it's free.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Department of Health, all healthcare for pregnant moms or children under 6, it's free. It's an amazing app, really.
That is a great relief to hear. We'll sign up for Mom Connect, then you'll download it for us, right?
Oh, of course, let's go right now.
Hey, remember, we are here to support you throughout this journey. Don't hesitate to reach out if you have any concerns.
Please.
Thank you so much, Nesphilizwa and Lupumzo.
Singama Africa, Kenya, you, Tina. Singama Africa, Kenya, you, Tina. Singama Africa, Kenya, Tina.
Join us again tomorrow as we sit down with an expert at 2:30 to further discuss children living with disabilities.
Side by side.
This program was brought to you by SABC Education. Enriching minds, enriching lives. Join us for this year's fundraiser, Jazz for Young People concert at the National School of the Arts on the 26th of July. This unique event, perfect for families, is a powerful celebration of youth, creativity, and community spirit. So bring the whole family to enjoy a wonderful day of world-class jazz curated by Zoe Mudicha, featuring the Parktown Girls Band, Tshwane School of Music, The Real DJ Zandi, Kutlotaro Jazz Band, and many others. Tickets are just 80 Rand and 50 Rand for kids under 12 via Quicket. Jazz for Young People is proudly brought to you by Standard Bank Joy of Jazz.
Chasing the Sun is a 5-part South African sport documentary series. An inspiring story of the 4-time World Rugby champions, the Springboks. The journey of winning the Rugby World Cup, a behind-the-scenes look of how the green and gold team overcame adversity, divisions, and doubt to become world champs. Be there when history shines. Tune into SABC2 on Sundays at 7:30 p.m. from 13 July to 10 August. Also available anytime, anywhere on SABC Plus. Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
For the love of the game.
The National Pulse, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
How would you encapsulate what you heard and thought in one word?
Indecisive. Now, he's saying we must wait for 6 months before he can tell us whether or not he thinks his Minister of Police is a crook or not. And I think this is unacceptable, but it's unacceptable because we have let it continue this way, and that's why people, even some even are praising him for having a commission of inquiry. Why do you need a commission of inquiry? People in the security trust are supposed to be highly trustworthy. If they can't tell you the truth, why do you think that you should set up a commission of 3 judges at probably at huge cost for 6 months for them to tell you the truth?
Professor J.J. Tabane, who's the convener of the Frank Dialogue and editor of Leadership.
Ashraf Garda on SAFM. Find the podcast at safm.co.za. You are listening to The Full Circle.
And welcome back. Talking about something great here. So, SNAP or SNAPP, Turning Hunger into Hope, and you've got to be part of the impact this HUP Giving Month, and we're going to be speaking to Senior Development Specialist at the University of Pretoria, that's Dagmar Khan. So they're saying it takes a village. Rings especially true for University of Pretoria students. It takes an entire community to help a student in need complete their studies. To rally this community spirit, HUP launched its Giving Month campaign that encourages donations of all kinds, financial contributions, food items, or other forms of support. And the main goal behind it is simply, to give whatever you can. And it is urgent so that they can end student hunger, reduce financial exclusion challenges that HUP cannot tackle alone. Of the estimated, just to give you some figures so that you can make sense out of it, 56,000 students at HUP, about 13,140 undergraduate students received funding from the National Student Financial Aid Scheme. 1,400 HUP students received donor-funded bursaries, and 4,400 were awarded other government and external bursary support. 2,000 UP students are on the waiting list for the Student Nutrition and Progress Program, yet only 250 are able to receive the support. So calling out to the community, calling out to those that have access, that can share, absolutely imperative. Dagmar Khan, Senior Development Specialist at the University of Pretoria, thank you so much for making time and welcome to the show.
Much for having me. I really appreciate being given this opportunity.
So maybe if you could just elaborate on the core objectives of the Student Nutrition Progress Program and how it aligns with the University of Pretoria's broader mission.
Of course. So the Student Nutrition and Progress Program, or as we like to call it, SNAP, is focused on targeting students with food insecurity. Across South Africa, most public and private higher education institutions have students suffering from food insecurity. The stats show between 11 to 38% of students suffer from food insecurity. So that's 1 in 3 on average. So as you can imagine, being a student and being hungry, you're not going to focus on your academics, you're not going to focus on writing exams. So this is something that we feel very strongly about at UP, that we want our students to be able to focus on their academic journey so that they don't have to worry about where their next meal comes from. So that ties into our broader goal of trying to end hunger, trying to ensure that our students graduate and that, they're able to go out and make a greater difference in society.
And do you have a particular system that you use to identify students most in need?
We have, at the University of Pretoria, students are able to apply for financial aid. They are able to apply on our online portal when they register as a UP student. They then, as part of their application form, indicate if they have food insecurity needs, and then they're able to apply from there. And then we, as funding becomes available, we are able to allocate it as necessary.
And talking about hunger into hope, what is the significance of it, as a slogan for this year's HUP Giving Month? And how does it encapsulate the campaign's goals?
So, as I mentioned, one of the big goals is to ensure that there's no student hunger, and we are trying to tackle hunger on our campus. This is also a part of one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. It's called SDG 2, which is zero hunger. So our main objective is to eradicate hunger and to hopefully in 2030 get to a point where there's zero hunger in the world. So this ties in very nicely with SNAP. And as such, we are very eager to invite your listeners to support the program.
And what have been some of the major challenges in terms of getting support, if at all any?
The one thing that we've noticed is there is a lot of donor fatigue, especially after COVID-19. People during that time really rallied together and came together as a community, and it was very inspirational. But post then, as everyone knows, the economy is having problems, and there are a lot of issues that people are facing with. So the income and the readily available income that they could donate is becoming less and less and less. So donors are having to be tighter with their wallets and are unable to make as many donations as they could. So that's a big factor. The other factor that we find is that some donors, especially individuals, feel that their 20 or 50 Rand a month is not going to make a difference. However, I would like to say, no matter what amount you can donate, every little bit adds up. If you can imagine, if you have 10,000 people donating 20 Rand a month, you looking at 200,000 Rand. So it all adds up, and it all makes a massive difference.
Mm. And beyond providing food, how does then SNAP aim to contribute to students' overall academic progress and just their general well-being?
Of course. We have what we call academic success coaches. So the students on the SNAP program meet with these academic success coaches on a quarterly basis to ensure that they are aligning with their academic goals. In addition, we have a counseling and a mental health service opportunity, as well as a clinic on our campus for students in need. And what I really love about the program is we track to see students' progression in terms of their academic results. So you can see, as you can imagine, if you're hungry and you're worried about where your food's going to come from, you're not going to perform well. But we've found that the students that have enrolled on this program have increased about around 20% in terms of their academic average. And that's just phenomenal.
Mm. We're going to take a small break, and then when we come back, maybe we can talk about, some collaborations and some success stories, and also, the metrics that you use in terms of just to track if the process is working and how it's progressing. Let's take a small break and we'll be back.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable for you. Whether it's a civil, criminal, or labor-related matter, we have a nationwide panel of attorneys standing by to assist you. SMS SAFM to 32195. That's SAFM to 32195, and we'll call you back. Clientele General is a licensed non-life insurer and an authorized FSP. Standard rates and terms and conditions apply.
My name is Casey Gordon. I'm the Banyana goalkeeper. My favorite music is all over the place. I love listening to all kinds of things, but I'd have to say maybe pop culture. My favorite pet is my cat. I love cats. They're so cute. My cat's name is Bailey. My favorite dish is pizza. Obviously, it's not a great dish as an athlete, but I love pizza. When I'm not playing football, I love to be with my friends and my family, and I love playing netball as well.
Proudly brought to you by SABC Sport.
Hear the rhythm, feel the heat at the Imbaula Music Festival in partnership with SAFM, where music, culture, and community come alive. Join us on the 2nd of August 2025 at Pretoria Botanical Gardens from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. to vibe to Sanal Musician, Calvin Momo, Amanda Black, Zing Lumalo, Trompis, and many more. More than just music. Share stories, spark change, and unite against gender-based violence. Grab your tickets at imbaula.co.za. Brought to you by SAFM and SABC1. Hear the rhythm, feel the heat. Imbaula. Bertha Charuma on SAFM.
And I'm speaking to Dagmar Khan, Senior Development Specialist at the University of Pretoria. SNAP is turning hunger into hope. And just before we took a small break, welcome back, Dagmar. Any
Thank you.
collaborations that you are into or that you're anticipating or expecting?
We are very thrilled to announce that we will be collaborating with the Vodacom Bulls as well as the Suzu Bulls Daisies. They will be coming to our flagship event next week, Wednesday, the 30th of July, where we will be packing food parcels for the SNAP program. And they will be here taking photos with our students and actively packing food parcels to make a difference in our community. In addition, we have other supporters and donors that we're very grateful to for their support. One of them being Tiger Brands, who support us through their Plates for Days program. And that's just to name a few, but we are grateful to everyone who is able to support our campaign.
And any other forms of support that you would appreciate apart from the financial and the food donations?
I know finances are always a hard one to ask for, so we are asking for non-perishable food donations. Individuals are welcome to donate or to drop the items off at Loftus Stadium. There's a donation box there. If they are unable to donate food, we are welcoming the community to come to our Packathon on the 30th of July. They just need to go to our website and they'll be able to register for it. And then, of course, if they could share our message as broadly and as widely as possible to make sure that everyone hears about SNAP, hears about the Vice Chancellor and Principal Scholarship Fund, and rallies behind the University of Pretoria to ensure that our students are able to finish their degrees without any debt and anything hanging over their heads.
And just before also we took that break, I was talking about, do you have any success stories? And also, whilst we are on the same, conversation of success stories, way forward in terms of alumni.
In terms of alumni, we would love their support, whether it's financially or whether they're able to come to the Packathon or to donate food. Additionally, we have a lovely program where alumni may sign up to mentor third year and first year and second year students. And as you can imagine, being a university student and bracing yourself for the working world is always hard. So those are ways that our alumni can get involved. In terms of success stories, I was moved by a gentleman that I met at our alumni reunion that we had earlier in the year. He was a beneficiary of the SNAP program. He said to me he came to our Department of Student Affairs, met with the Deputy Director there, Dr. Yarrison, and he said to him, I have 10 rands in my name, I can't afford to buy a loaf of bread, and I'm about to start writing my exams for my BCom in economics. So thanks to SNAP, we were able to provide him with non-perishable food, and he was able to study and not worry about not having anything to eat. And because of that, he graduated on time, and he is now working at an institution as a business analyst, and he is contributing towards SNAP himself on a monthly basis.
And then, are there any other plans to expand the scope of SNAP to include, other forms of support? It could be nutritional education, something totally different from what we're talking about this afternoon.
So we would love to establish a food garden. We have space in the community. Currently, we have a small food garden just off the Hatfield campus where we plant and then collect fresh produce such as spinach and cabbage, and that gets included in the food parcels. However, we'd love to expand that food garden, so that's something we're looking into. In addition to that, we have a program called Fly at UP, where they collect secondhand clothing and have a thrift store once every semester. And what I love about the thrift store is you're allowed to go, as any student may attend, and you get a certain number of items that you can take. So whether it's one pair of shorts or one T-shirt, you can take it for free, and then you're allowed to carry on your way. And what's so important about that is that it destigmatizes the need for people who go to our Department of Student Affairs and say, look, they don't have jerseys, they don't have clothes, winter's coming. So we make sure that we're able to make it a community where everyone is benefiting without any stigma or any discrimination.
That's great stuff. That is Dagmar Khan chatting to us. For more information, where do we go?
For more information, please go to our website. It's www.up.ac.za, and you simply click on the Giving to UP tab at the top. Otherwise, you're welcome to find us on social media. You look for the University of Pretoria. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, which is now X, and TikTok.
Thank you, Dagmar Khan, Senior Development Specialist at the University of Pretoria. Thank you for making time, and have yourself the rest of a beautiful day.
Thank you, and thank you to your listeners. I really appreciate it.
And bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Well, still to come. Not much. We've only got just about literally a minute or so. But I know that Ashraf Gadar is coming through with all things current affairs. And of course, I'm sure some soft conversations. But what I know, the country right now has got so much going on, and there is so much to talk about. And, you know, he's always readily available to have those conversations with you. And when you engage, you use our usual numbers, which are 086 000 2032, or the WhatsApp voice note line, which is 061 410 410 7. But otherwise, from my team, that's the technical team, as well as my producers, it's been absolutely fantastic. And if you missed the show, well, you missed quite a bit. We spoke about the Kenya protests. We also spoke about farming, where we spoke to founder Agro Queen, where this queen is farming in Kuruman, northern part of the Cape, and doing some fantastic stuff, doing, you know, beef, which seems to be the in thing. But of course, if you're going to go into beef, you know that your capital must be properly organized, because cows don't come cheap. Also, we spoke to Bokamuso Mpatlane, Marketing Officer of South African National Association of the Blind and Partially Sighted Person. And we also spoke to Sinikiwe Biela, Executive Director at Lifeline and Rape Crisis in Pietermaritzburg. And we're talking about abuse of children, which has just become rampant. And it just makes me wonder, maybe we need to look at a completely view here in terms of our conversation going forward. Our mental state seems to have kind of shifted. We don't seem to be, you know, the stable, solid, sturdy lot that we used to be. And maybe we will have to dig deep and find out, mentally wise, as a country, as a nation, what's happening. Are we solid or are we solid? But otherwise, that's just my view. Maybe it's something to think about. And if you have any suggestions, you're absolutely welcome to share your suggestions with us on our WhatsApp line, as well as you can give us a call and we'll have those discussions. But otherwise, from myself and the rest of the team, it's been fantastic. National Pulse is up next. Au revoir.
Thank you, Bertha, and the team on the top stories. Accused number 5 in Mayua murder case ordered to be moved to another facility, and offices closed in Iran due to the heat wave. For SAFM News, I am Ondelambana, and a very good afternoon. The presiding judge in the Senzo Mayua murder case, Judge Rata Mokgwatleng, has ordered that accused number 5, Fisoku Hlenduli, be moved from Kgosi Mampuru Correctional Center in Pretoria to another facility. This follows delays in the trial, with Nduli alleging he has been tortured and denied basic necessities such as